and then co-founded an organization called Impact Tulsa, which is all about you
co-founded that? That's crazy work.
Yeah, it's fun, and they're doing great work to this day. Yeah.
I work with Impact Tulsa. Do you? Few of the
now I understand. I recognize what your voice means, and I recognize there are other people who need to hear about the future of the city, and so I'm here on the shoulders of what you have built, more so than anything. And I'm thinking about Nipsey Hussle. His last album is one that you can listen to like all the way through. Not everybody has that.
Come on now.
And actually, I didn't know a whole lot about Nipsey Hussle until
Jordan or LeBron.
Oh man, see, I can't go against Jordan, but I am.
If you could just give me one piece of advice that you've received in your life, what's some important advice that you would say you've received?
I mean, the best advice I ever got was,
"Hey yo, come through."
Yo, what's going down? It's your boy King Spence, and I'm here with a very, very special guest. One of the most special guests I've ever had the opportunity to chat with, Representative Nichols. What's going on?
Appreciate it. Now, you said one of the biggest that you had to chat. I don't believe that, but I appreciate you gassing me up, though.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into why you so special and why it means so much to me that you here.
Yeah.
Is it all right if I call you Monroe?
You call me whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Monroe. Absolutely. So,
I've been called a lot worse.
Man, I can only imagine. So, I mean, let's go ahead and give people an understanding of who you are. So, your background is definitely in politics, but the highlight right now is that you're actually running and about to become the first black mayor of Tulsa.
Man, 13 months on the campaign trail. 8 years in the legislature, worked in this community before that. Yeah. The biggest thing is I got a 16-year-old, and so I think about everything that I'm doing right now in the context of the kind of community I want him to inherit when he's an adult, somewhere you want to come back to. I hear people all the time say, we don't have enough stuff in Tulsa. We got this, or we got this. That might be not the most positive things in the world. Yeah. I want to make sure it's the city you want to be in. That's really the reason why I'm doing it.
See, that's sweet. I do know a little bit about your background. Yeah. First of all, being that you played ball at TU. Yeah. What was that like?
Man, when I got to TU, 1-11. In fact, that first year, won one game my freshman year.
Dang.
And beat UTEP and broke a 17-game losing streak. I think it was us and Prairie View had the longest losing streak. They tore down the goalpost, beat UTEP for one win. When I left, though, we had won conference. We had won the Liberty Bowl. And so got to see the program change from not very good to bowl champions in just 4 years. It was a pretty cool time to be at TU.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love TU. I never went there, but I love going to their basketball and football games. Yeah. I think that's pretty dope that you went there.
TU basketball over the years, I think there's three, three coaches, I think, that have coached there, won national championships at other schools. So Bill Self coached at TU, Nolan Richardson coached at TU, and Tubby Smith coached TU basketball. And they've all won national championships at other schools. They all came through here.
Bill Self, he coached at KU, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that he coached here in Tulsa.
He did.
That's crazy. Who was coaching when you went there?
Football. Oh, Steve Crackthorpe, and he actually just passed away. He had Parkinson's, passed away just recently. So obviously thinking about his family. But Coach K came in my sophomore year at TU. Oh, wow. Turned everything around, man.
That's dope there. I want to just ask you a couple of random questions,
hit me with
but let's do a little rapid fire before we even get into it. I'm going to ask you 6 questions, and you just, as fast as you can answer them, give them to me.
It's like Family Feud.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no wrong answers, though. I mean, we'll leave that up to the viewer.
I can tell you, I've been in politics long enough. There's some wrong answers out there.
All right. Okay, here we go. Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, man, see, I can't go against Jordan, but I am a James fanatic. My favorite basketball team is always whatever team LeBron plays on.
Okay.
But Jordan's the GOAT, though.
All right. Mike or Prince?
Oh, me and Mama have this argument all the time. Okay. I'm gonna go Prince.
Okay. Burger or pizza?
Pizza.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike, easy.
Benz or Beamer?
Beamer.
TU or Baylor?
TU.
Okay. You know why I asked you that one?
Because I'm from Waco.
Yeah.
A lot of my family went to Baylor.
So what was it like? Did you get a lot of scrutiny from the film because you chose to go to TU opposed to pursuing a career at Baylor?
Not really. So when I actually was coming on the decision, my mom worked at Baylor. And I love my mama. She lives here now. She works at TCC now, but we love each other. She's the greatest woman I know. But went to college campus, big enough. in the world for two of us at the same time.
Yeah.
So, love her, though. I get more flack now because I went to graduate school at OU. I got cousins that graduated from UT, Baylor, Texas Tech, all over all these Texas schools. So I get more flack for the OU than I do TU.
Is it a connection you have with Oklahoma that made you stay at Oklahoma schools? Was it just...
You know what? So when I was going through that process, Tulsa was the only place I had never been, so I researched it. And I knew a little bit about Tulsa's history, more so than a lot of people. When I got here, a lot of people didn't know about where we had been through, what had happened in Tulsa back in the day. Yeah. And I was taken by it. So I came here because it was a place that intrigued me. I'd never been here before. And then I started working in the mayor's office right after I graduated and got the bug.
That's crazy because, being a black guy from Tulsa, it's not likely that, we get exposed to the opportunities or just an interest in pursuing any role in politics. Yeah. Where did that come from for you?
Man, it's crazy. I remember I was 15 years old, and my mom was on the Housing Authority board, and we went to she had a conference in D.C., and this is before 9/11 where you could walk into the United States Capitol and see everything. And I remember sitting up in the gallery, and I saw people down on the floor, and they were like they were making really important decisions, but it was so few of them, and none of them looked like me. And I was like, man, I think I want to be on that floor helping make decisions because I don't see nobody down there that looks like they represent me very well. And that's where it started. And my mom was, growing up, mom was a probation officer before she went to work at Baylor. My dad was a police officer. My grandfather had been in the Air Force. They had all done these kind of public service type of jobs. And so that's where I got it from. I got it from, thinking that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do some stuff that's supposed to help other people.
You said mom's was a police officer, probation officer?
Mom was a probation officer, yeah. And what was interesting about her being a probation officer, she would always talk about what the guys are on her caseload. She'd always be like, your past is not your potential. So her deal was always like, hey, in life we all make mistakes. Things can happen, but don't let those things define you. Yeah. And I carried that my whole life because, look, I've made a few mistakes in life. Yeah. And my mom telling that to the dudes on her caseload became something I always thought about growing up. So, yeah.
So now the narrative is pursuing mayor of Tulsa, which is huge to me.
Yeah, it's huge to me too.
You hear me?
Huge to me too.
So how did that become when did you decide that, all right, I'm going for mayor?
It's when you think about everything that happens to us on a daily basis, how police are policing the streets, the condition of the streets themselves, how kids are navigating this community, how your trash is picked up, all those things. Mayors are where it happens. A lot of people vote for president and they vote for governor, but they sit out the mayor's races. When the mayor's race and the mayor has more impact in your life than anybody else. And so when you think about the greatest impact that we can make in our given field, right? Mayor to me is where you can make the greatest impact on your community. Yeah. And that's the reason why I decided to do it.
And I don't know a lot about politics, but I do understand that you can't just wake up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna run for mayor. Or maybe
you kind of could. It costs a couple $100 to file, so you could. I mean, in theory.
But what's your background? You definitely have a deeper background in politics. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, so I've been in the state legislature for 8 years now. I chair the Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus, so all the black legislators, we have a caucus that we work together on. I chair that group, and have done that for the last 2 years. And before I ever got elected, though, I worked in the mayor's office, my first job out of college. I was chief of staff to the president of OU Tulsa, my second job out of college. Went on to work at the chamber on we're running the business retention expansion program, and then co-founded an organization called Impact Tulsa, which is all about
you co-founded that?
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
Yeah, it was fun, and they're doing great work to this day.
Wow,
really proud of it. Yeah.
I work with Impact Tulsa.
Do you?
It's an umbrella with a lot of and
what do you do?
I'm a videographer. I get to work with my brother's keeper.
Oh, yeah.
My little sister works for Carlicia.
Yeah, man.
Your idea has been a blessing to a lot of Tulsans.
2014, man. 2014.
Wow.
Is when we started it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's wild, right?
So what can people who've never voted, what are some things that they can do to get started?
I mean, I think always it's important to research candidates. I want everybody to vote for me, but people need to see hey, who's going to best represent this community and the things that I care about. I think that's always important. So to educate yourself, I think is number one. important part of being a citizen is making sure you kind of know who's out there, because, you know, a lot of people are dependent on folks making a good decision as to who's going to represent them. But also say get involved. You know, get on doors, make phone calls for a candidate, because what happens is you're connecting with people in your community, right? And so you understand what's going on there. But the big thing is voting. Election day is August the 27th, and for the mayor's race. But in every election, you know, always get out there, go and vote, encourage other people to vote. Because I always say, man, if you're going to complain about something, at least make sure you got some skin in the game, you made your voice heard, and you went and voted.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what does winning look like for you? Like, how do you win?
You know, from when I started, you know, there's a couple things that we all know about being a black candidate in particular. You got to work 2-3 times as hard. It's just fact. And that's true with anything in most cases. But it's establishing yourself as like the best candidate to be mayor. You know, you're not going to have the highest name ID potentially. You know, you're not going to have as much money as other folks, but it's going out there and being really clear about what you want to do for the city and trying to engage people on that. And that's what I've done. I mean, I think there's very little debate at this point as to who's the best to do the job. The only debate is that who folks might be more comfortable with because they've known them longer.
Yeah.
And I think that was always my goal, is to not ask people for their vote unless I can tell them what I'm going to do for them, how I'm going to try to deliver for them. And I think it's just like with everything I learned in sports and everything else. You put in your best effort, you prepare, you work hard, all that kind of stuff, and that should translate into winning. Don't always translate into winning, though. It should. And so for me, it's the same lessons as being an athlete, the same lessons that you learn from your parents, the same lessons that help you create something like this, right? You got to grind every day, and in grinding every day, you understand that over the last 13 months, if I win, that laddered up to winning. If I don't win, that laddered up to me showing people in this community that we actually don't have to settle for, you know, for being complacent or settle for less, that we've now reset the standard. And we're gonna go champion that no matter what we do next.
You have a career in politics, and obviously you got a career in winning, because you moving up the ladder. I would say, like, this would be like the next step up for you, right? To be elected mayor of Tulsa. And overall, like, what would the end goal be? Like,
for me? You know, honestly, I think it's being mayor. You know, I think about, you go do something else, and it's like you might be successful. But if you think about how close you can be to the action and you can see things in your community changing, any other job you do, you're further away from that. If you are in Congress, like you in D.C., you don't really know what's going on in your community. If you're governor, you're still kind of arm's length away from what's going on in neighborhoods. If you're president, like, you ain't nowhere close to it. But as mayor, you're right on top of it, man. And you get to every day, you know, work with everybody, represent folks, but also, look, you know, you're going to have a conversation. Like, I'm all Kamala Harris all day long. But whoever gets elected president, we still got to do stuff here.
That's right.
We still got to do stuff here. And for me, that's the work that I care the most about.
It says a lot that you come in here, because I feel like I read some of, like, your policies, and I know in education you really want to focus on helping the underserved communities. And I feel like you taking a step to come through Tulsa and just, like, speak with me says a lot to me and to my followers. That just kind of says, like, you really here for us.
I mean, you got to, you know, I think that, and I hope you know this, right? Like, you have an important voice for the community.
Salute.
And, you know, people go, not everybody read the Tulsa World. Don't everybody, you know, get their news from here. Not everybody goes and engages in different ways. But what you do every day is you give people a place to come to, a sense of community, and that matters. That matters a great deal. And so me coming here is not to do you any favors.
That's right.
It's the fact that now I understand, I recognize what your voice means, and I recognize there are other people who need to hear about the future of the city. And so I'm here on the shoulders of what you have built, more so than anything. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Salute. That's so tight. Well, look, let me ask you a few more questions, and I'm going to let you get out of here.
Let's go.
You are in a very valuable space to, you know, people like me. I look at you and like that's like impossible. You know, not impossible as in, like, where you stand and, like, your success in politics. Like, looking at me coming from the East Side, Meadows, you probably familiar with what goes on out there. I look at you like, dang, bro, I didn't know that was possible. What's some advice, like, if you could just give me one piece of advice that you've received in your life, what's some important advice that you would say you've received?
I mean, the best advice I ever got was to never put a ceiling on yourself. And that's no matter what you decide to do. It's not just applicable to politics. It's everything. And I tell my 16-year-old that all the time. I tell him all the time that, like, you drive the value of yourself. Like, yeah, you got some tools and mom and daddy here to help you navigate that, or, people coming in out of your life. But at the end of the day, you're in a competition with yourself every day. Some days you're not going to want to get up to do whatever you got to do. That's you putting a ceiling on yourself. That's nobody else did that to you. And that was always the thing that's what I latched onto.
That's tight. Don't put a ceiling on yourself.
Yeah.
You aren't in politics, so I know you always in a position where you got to please people who are not able to be pleased.
Yeah.
Making a lot of tough decisions. What is a decision that you feel like you had to make that was really difficult that kind of crafted you into who you are today?
I think the toughest decision that I made that I learned a lot about, I left college. I graduated in 4 years, but I wasn't done with football yet.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Coach Crackthorpe, and his question was, do you want to come back for your redshirt senior year? And I tore my ACL twice, and, it had been the best year I had because I've been healthy and everything. I decided to leave, and I left. At the time, it was hard. But I left because I got some advice from somebody who is, unless if you want to hear the backstory, I'll tell you the backstory. But I ended up leaving because I knew that you get 85 scholarships. And I had come to TU. I got my degree. We won a bowl game. I could stay another year, but if I stay another year, some other kid who's 16, 17, 18 years old ain't going to have an opportunity to come here.
Yeah.
And so I went and worked. And I think that decision back then has been something I've thought about ever since. Like, at some point, you got to pass the baton, make sure somebody else has an opportunity, because you can go do something else, and you should go do something. It's time to grow up. But it was tough at the time, man. Like, it was real tough at the time. All my friends were there, and we had an opportunity to be good again, and I was going to be healthy, but I left, and that actually started my career. If I wouldn't have left, I probably would never worked in the mayor's office. Yeah. If I wouldn't have left, I probably wouldn't be sitting across from you right now. It was wild. There's
so many questions I could ask you just about your background and how you guys started. But I know we limited on time. I wanted to know, like, who are some of the guys that you played against?
Man. So my last year at TU, let me tell you, like, our first, 4 games, we played against 3 dudes, all went first round in the NFL draft.
For real?
We played against Lawrence Maroney, who went and played for the New England Patriots. Played against Adrian Peterson. Everybody know who he is. And D'Angelo Williams, who played in Memphis. I think that was 3 of our first 4 or 5 games. We played against 3 dudes that were absolute dogs.
For real? How did y'all play against them?
Oh. Well, so actually, Minnesota came in. They came to TU, destroyed us. I think he had 250 yards in the first quarter. OU, it was close. It was close for a while. Like, we were right there with him in Adrian Peterson second half. Like, the highlight from the TU game that year, they still play on the Jumbotron when, they do their little entrance video. Kind of makes me mad every time I see it. But
dang, that's crazy.
Dude was a beast, though, man.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Dang, that's tight, though.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
All right, so last couple things right here.
Yeah.
This is predominantly a music platform, so I got to ask you about your preferences in music. Who your top 3 all time?
So, so all time is weird because all time versus what I listen to every day is different. So, I think you can't really talk about rap without talking about Tupac being an all-timer, right?
Right.
So I'm going to put him up there. I say Lauryn Hill's way up there for me.
Lauryn
Hill's way up there for me. We even talked last time. Old Kanye West.
Yeah.
He may have some new stuff out, but sometimes I'm like, man, I gotta go back to college dropout type stuff.
Facts.
So he's way up there for me. Marsha Ambrosius.
Who's that?
So she's the other half of Floetry.
Oh. Did they separate?
So she's actually released her own music. I don't know if they officially separated, but she's released her own music.
Yeah.
But I always think about the albums that are out there that you can listen all through. Like, I'm a big 50 Cent fan too.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm thinking about Nipsey Hussle. His last album is one that you can listen to all the way through. Not everybody has that.
Come on now.
And actually, I didn't know a whole lot about Nipsey Hussle until he was on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And he was talking. I was like, who's this dude?
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, Nip, one of those ones, man. I got to shoot a music video with him now
on
my birthday. Absolutely. Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, man, that was the greatest day of my life. You hear me? Because I was big. That's the only reason I ever started going to California is just because of the influence that he had on me. just
that's
the
wild.
success he's achieved coming from, from the bottom, so going out there and being able to shoot that video was tight. So
it's kind of funny. So it's kind of funny. Every once in a while, somebody like I was at a funeral, and somebody got in the car with me, but like I had Nipsey Hussle on, like right before they got in the car. Like when I got to what you could ask yourself, why was I listening to this particular song? When I got to the funeral, so there's a song on his last album that he has, is him and Diddy. And you know what the song is probably,
right,
so you know the words in it.
Yeah.
Well, the person got in the car with me.
Yeah.
Was not necessarily interested in that language. I was like, oh, my bad.
Right. Hey, it's a good song.
It is a good song.
Beyond
I was like, oh man, my bad.
Yeah, but that's hip hop for you, unfortunately.
No, it was good. No, yeah.
But so just a few closing comments. Can you tell us some important dates that if we want to, support you, where can we be on what days?
So Election Day is August 27th, and you can find your polling place. You can just Google where's my polling place, and there's a website that'll show you. Put your first name, last name, birthday, I think, and it'll pop up where you're supposed to go vote if you don't know. So August 27th is critically important. The Saturday before, you can vote early at the election board. So you can just go show them your ID. You can vote early that way. But I think, going and voting on the 27th is the biggest thing, man. Talk to your friends about it. Do your research, monroeformayor.com. You can find out everything about me. You can even reach out to us that way if people want to know more information or talk to me or whatever the case may be. But I think people have to go vote. Like this, I do think that the mayor's race is the most important election this year in Tulsa. Like, even more so than the presidential race and everything else, just the way the numbers work. A vote is 1 for 1 here. You vote for president here, which everybody should do, by the way. Everybody should turn out and vote for who they're going to vote for. Like I said, I'm voting for Kamala Harris, but but a vote in this mayor's race is critically important. And I would just say make your voices heard. It means double as much in the mayor's race because so few people vote in it. Yeah.
And one more time, can you tell them if they want to find out more about your plans, where do they go?
They go to monroeformayor.com. We got plans and priorities on there, a little bit about me, ways you want to get involved, if you want a yard sign, if you want to sign up to volunteer, phone bank, all that kind of stuff, you can go to the website. You can get all that information and make sure you vote on August 27th.
There we go. You got any closing comments you want to make?
Like I said before, I think just to you, hats off to you for the platform you've created here. And I know it's just going to continue to grow. And maybe as we continue to draw more attention back to Tulsa and the culture here in Tulsa, you continue to have that. I think one day I'll be coming here and people will be like, who is that dude he has on there? And why is he reaching down to let this little old dude on his show again? Because, I do think that there's so much power in it. I think there's so much power in it. And I hope you lean in it. I hope you know that. I hope you feel the kind of pride that I feel sitting across the table from you and what you build here.
Well, I appreciate you once again.
Yes, sir.
That wraps it up, man. Make sure y'all go check out more content, more information about Representative Nichols in the building.
That's right.
Never seen a mayor come through before, and y'all never seen a mayor on y'all screen until y'all saw it right here, man. I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you.
To talk to you.
Yes, sir.
We out.
See y'all.